Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The domain ruled by a king or queen. A domain in which something is dominant. The untroubled kingdom of reason. A basic group of natural objects. A country with a king as head of state. A monarchy with a king or queen as head of state. The highest taxonomic group into which organisms are grouped. One of 5 biological categories: Monera or Protoctista or Plantae or Fungi or Animalia. A knowledge domain that you are interested in or are communicating about. It was a limited realm of discourse. The domain ruled by a king or queen. A domain in which something is dominant. The rise of the realm of cotton in the south. Material in the top layer of the surface of the earth in which plants can grow, especially with reference to its quality or use. The land had never been plowed. The territory occupied by a nation. He returned to the land of his birth. A politically organized body of people under a single government. An industrialized land. United States inventor who incorporated Polaroid film into lenses and invented the one-step photographic process, 1909 to 1991. Extensive landed property, especially in the country, retained by the owner for his own use. The family owned a large estate on Long Island. Reach or come to rest. The bird landed on the highest branch. Bring into a different state. This may land you in jail. The people who live in a nation or country. Arrive on shore. The ship landed in Pearl Harbor. Cause to come to the ground. The pilot managed to land the airplane safely. Agriculture considered as an occupation or way of life. There's no work on the land anymore. The solid part of the Earth's surface. The plane turned away from the sea and moved back over land. Shoot at and forced to come down. The enemy landed several of our aircraft. Territory over which rule or control is exercised. He made it the law of the land. A domain in which something is dominant. A land of make-believe. Bring ashore. The drug smugglers landed the heroin on the beach of the island. Deliver a blow. He landed several blows on his opponent's head. The land on which real estate is located. He built the house on land leased from the city. Extensive landed property, especially in the country, retained by the owner for his own use. Territory over which rule or control is exercised. People in general, especially a distinctive group of people with some shared interest. Mathematics, the set of values of the independent variable for which a function is defined. The content of a particular field of knowledge. A particular environment or walk of life. Territory over which rule or control is exercised. His domain extended into Europe. A particular environment or walk of life. A large structure for open-air sports or entertainments. A playing field where sports events take place. The central area of an ancient Roman amphitheater where contests and spectacles were held, especially an area that was strewn with sand. A branch of knowledge. A particular kind of commercial enterprise. They are outstanding in their field. The area that is visible, as through an optical instrument. A particular environment or walk of life. The space around a radiating body within which its electromagnetic oscillations can exert force on another similar body not in contact with it. A piece of land prepared for playing a game. The home crowd cheered when Princeton took the field. A place where planes take off and land. Extensive tract of level open land. He longed for the fields of his youth. A region where a battle is being, or has been, fought. They made a tour of Civil War battlefields. A region in which active military operations are in progress. The army was in the field awaiting action. A geographic region, land or sea, under which something valuable is found. The diamond fields of South Africa. All of the horses in a particular horse race. All the competitors in a particular contest or sporting event. Answer adequately or successfully. The lawyer fielded all questions from the press. A piece of land cleared of trees and usually enclosed. He planted a field of wheat. Catch or pick up balls in baseball or cricket. Computer science, a set of one or more adjacent characters comprising a unit of information. Mathematics, a set of elements such that addition and multiplication are commutative and associative and multiplication is distributive over addition and there are two elements 0 and 1. The set of all rational numbers is a field. Play as a fielder. Select, a team or individual player, for a game. The Buckeyes fielded a young new quarterback for the Rose Bowl. Somewhere, away from a studio or office or library or laboratory, where practical work is done or data is collected. Anthropologists do much of their work in the field. A part of an animal that has a special function or is supplied by a given artery or nerve. A particular geographical region of indefinite boundary, usually serving some special purpose or distinguished by its people or culture or geography. It was a mountainous area. The extent of a two-dimensional surface enclosed within a boundary. The area of a rectangle. A particular environment or walk of life. It was a closed area of employment. A part of a structure having some specific characteristic or function. The spacious cooking area provided plenty of room for servants. A subject of study. It was his area of specialization. The apparent surface of the imaginary sphere on which celestial bodies appear to be projected. A particular aspect of life or activity. A particular environment or walk of life. His social sphere is limited. The geographical area in which one nation is very influential. Any spherically shaped artifact. A solid figure bounded by a spherical surface, including the space it encloses. A three-dimensional closed surface such that every point on the surface is equidistant from the center. The, usually elliptical, path described by one celestial body in its revolution about another. He plotted the orbit of the moon. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. In the political orbit of a world power. A particular environment or walk of life. He's out of my orbit. Move in an orbit. The moon orbits around the Earth. The bony cavity in the skull containing the eyeball. The path of an electron around the nucleus of an atom. A set that is closed, associative, has an identity element and every element has an inverse. Form a group or group together. Any number of entities, members, considered as a unit. Chemistry. Two or more atoms bound together as a single unit and forming part of a molecule. Arrange into a group or groups. Can you group these shapes together? Any number of entities, members, considered as a unit. A system for classifying things into groups. The activity of putting things together in groups. Indicate through a symbol, formula, etc. The territory occupied by a nation. A politically organized body of people under a single government. The state has elected a new president. Chemistry. The three traditional states of matter are solids, fixed shape and volume, and liquids, fixed volume and shaped by the container, and gases, filling the container. The solid state of water is called ice. The territory occupied by one of the constituent administrative districts of a nation. His state is in the deep south. Put before. The federal department in the United States that sets and maintains foreign policies. Express in words. State your opinion. A state of depression or agitation. He was in such a state you just couldn't reason with him. The group of people comprising the government of a sovereign state. The state has lowered its income tax. The way something is with respect to its main attributes. The current state of knowledge. The territory occupied by a nation. A politically organized body of people under a single government. The country's largest manufacturer. A particular geographical region of indefinite boundary, usually serving some special purpose or distinguished by its people or culture or geography. Bible country. The people who live in a nation or country. The whole country worshipped him. An area outside of cities and towns. His poetry celebrated the slower pace of life in the country. An autocracy governed by a monarch who usually inherits the authority. Animal or plant group having natural relations. Animal or plant group having natural relations. Animal or plant group having natural relations. An idyllic realm of contentment and self-indulgence. An idyllic realm of contentment and self-indulgence. All inorganic objects. Contrasts with animal and plant kingdoms. Prokaryotic bacteria and blue-green algae and various primitive pathogens. Because of lack of consensus on how to divide the organisms into phyla, informal names are used for the major divisions. Botany, the taxonomic kingdom comprising all living or extinct plants. Prokaryotic bacteria and blue-green algae and various primitive pathogens. Because of lack of consensus on how to divide the organisms into phyla, informal names are used for the major divisions. Botany, the taxonomic kingdom comprising all living or extinct plants. Botany, the taxonomic kingdom comprising all living or extinct plants. Prokaryotic bacteria and blue-green algae and various primitive pathogens. Because of lack of consensus on how to divide the organisms into phyla, informal names are used for the major divisions. In most modern classifications, replacement for the protista includes protozoa, euglenophyta, chlorophyta, Cryptophyta, Heterocontyphyta, Rhodophyta, unicellular protists and their descendant multicellular organisms, regarded as distinct from plants and animals. Prokaryotic bacteria and blue-green algae and various primitive pathogens. Because of lack of consensus on how to divide the organisms into phyla, informal names are used for the major divisions. The taxonomic kingdom including yeast, molds, smuts, mushrooms, and toadstools, distinct from the green plants. The taxonomic kingdom including yeast, molds, smuts, mushrooms, and toadstools, distinct from the green plants.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.